Have you had enough of this pandemic already? I am sure that most of us feel that way. However, if we think about it a little bit, it hasn't all been 100% negative, 100% bad, suffering, misery, and despair. I know it has caused a lot of suffering and it has caused a lot of death, and that's the sad part of it. But if we look at our lives and what has happened to each of us, I'm sure we can talk about difficulties, but also we can talk about certain positive aspects that happened in our lives over the last 6 months. I know that I can for sure. I am Katerina George, writer and vlogger, and on this channel, if you're new to it, I publish vlogs about lifestyle, my travels, and also my Romanian heritage. And today's vlog is going to be one about lifestyle. If you like what you see in today's vlog and would like to see more, please remember to subscribe to my channel and show your support if you enjoy what I'm giving you here. Now, today I said that this is going to be a vlog about lifestyle. I invited my friend Alyssa to go with me and visit an arts exhibition event here on the valley of the Severn River towards Iron Bridge. But what we are going to do in the vlog today is talk about how she became a yoga instructor during this COVID pandemic. Now she works from home, she has classes online, and that relates to me as well because during this pandemic I managed to keep up with my workouts at home, just mixing up yoga elements, body balance that I've been doing at the gym for a long time, and yeah, I am actually in the best shape that I have been for years. Alisa and I have just come back after a lovely afternoon spent on the valley of the River Severn towards Iron Bridge, in the area where they used to have the old tiles factories in Victorian times. And we spent the afternoon there around this centre, arts and crafts centre called Moores Centre, where they have lots of galleries. They even have a plant shop where Alisa bought a plant for the room where she teaches her yoga classes. We stopped at the cafe. And now we are ready to talk about Alisa's journey to becoming a yoga instructor, a yoga teacher. And then she will give me a little bit of a yoga teaching practice. We'll do it together and we'll record it in this vlog. If you have been watching the vlogs on my channel for a while now, I had Alisa as my guest in one of my older vlogs. It must have been at least 1 year ago, when she introduced to me her Doom box of makeup, a very good method to keep one's makeup well organized, particularly when you have tons of it. So I will just link that vlog up here. But now, let us talk to Alisa and have her tell her story on her journey to becoming a yoga instructor. Alisa used to be a teacher when she first moved to the UK because she came from the US. And I think I'll just let her tell you about how her journey has been. See, Alisa, you have been teaching for a long time, and then how did this change happen?
Well, when I first started thinking about coming over, I was in a position where I had the opportunity to think about whether I wanted to continue to be a teacher. And for a little bit, I actually considered maybe teaching yoga instead of continuing to teach in secondary school. Because by that point, I'd been practicing for about 5-6 years on my own. And I thought, no, teaching in a classroom, you can just go back to teaching in a classroom once you're settled, and you'll always have your own personal practice. And when I got here, it was very different, and I realized I didn't know teaching in a classroom, and I had the opportunity to, be able to compare two very different systems of education.
Because you just told me in the car as we were driving back from the art galleries that it was so different that you didn't expect because, we're teaching education, particularly in countries that are, at least, a Western culture still. It's a bit similar, but it wasn't all that.
No, and I think most of my culture shock moving from the US to the UK was based around the school system. So a lot of things that I took for granted just didn't transfer over, and I realized that what I loved about being a teacher wasn't really compatible with how the UK school system worked.
Yeah.
So I did a little bit of soul searching, and I realized that I still want to be a teacher. I'm still very passionate about sharing what I know with other people, but secondary school wasn't working for me.
Yeah.
So
How long have you been doing that here in the UK?
in the UK?
Yeah, secondary school.
3 years I taught.
Okay, yeah, so it wasn't all too long. You just tried and you realized,
I worked at 2 different schools. I worked at an upper school, and then I worked at in the US we would call it a middle school, but I guess it's a high school here.
Yeah.
And the curriculum for GCSEs is soulless, and
well, we have seen some earthquakes around that, some earth tremors around that this year, haven't we?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And then the middle group of kids, so from year 7 to year 9, they're just too little. They're not quite developed enough as people yet for me to really have enjoyed. I mean, some of them were lovely.
Yeah.
But they're, my passion was being able to teach slightly older kids.
Older, yeah.
So a lot of what I looked for as a teacher in a classroom, I just wasn't getting, and I thought, I would really actually like to just go back to teaching something that I am passionate about, and I figured if not English, then my other big love was yoga.
But as you said, Alisa, yoga has been part of your life for a while, and you have had, from what I know from you, you have had, a history of doing sports and, being active physically and all of that. So it didn't come just out of the blue. All of a sudden you were like, oh, I'm doing yoga, so maybe I can teach you.
So I've always been really active. I started with cheerleading, of all things, and ballet.
Brilliant.
So I started with ballet when I was about 4, I want to say, and I did a little bit of tap and a little bit of jazz and a little bit of hip hop dancing as well. And then when I was, I want to say, 9 or 10, I did like little baby cheerleading. And I did that for a couple of years. Went from that exclusively into dance, and then went from dance to martial arts. So I did Taekwondo for a little bit.
Oh my God.
And then when I hit the last couple of years of high school, I kind of stopped and wasn't doing anything really at all for about 2.5 years. And I realized I was anxious all the time, like all the time. And so I didn't get on with going to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really get on with actually sitting down and saying, okay, this is my exercise routine. Because I liked the freedom of movement, particularly from dance. So I did what every budding millennial did, and I went onto YouTube and I looked for some yoga videos.
I know that you told me previously that your parents were gym lovers, gym goers.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah.
I can't really. I used to do the gym before COVID, just because if I paid for it and it's structured and I know it's there, and I know I've planned to go to the gym, I was going, But otherwise, I'm not a big fan either. It's too static. I find it, like you said, just putting weights. It works for some people, but for me it was too static as well. So yeah, so you went the YouTube way and started to do yoga. Did
Yeah.
you take classes at the beginning? Did you take any classes that you paid for?
No. I probably practiced for a year just doing what I could scrounge off of YouTube. And then when I was in university, they had some classes that you could take for free. I did a couple of those, and I thought, this is silly. I'm just going to go back to YouTube.
Well, why was it?
It was a really strange, environment, because it was in a gym, and it wasn't in a studio. So, at home, I could control my experience. I could control the music that I wanted to put on. I could put incense in the room or light a candle or, so I had complete control over my environment. If I wasn't feeling, the routine that I had put on, I could change it to something else.
Yeah.
So for me, actually being in a studio at the beginning, I wasn't comfortable.
Yeah, and
with
it was a gym, as you said.
Yeah.
Probably a lot more of a sterile environment as well.
Yeah. So it wasn't until I actually started my yoga teacher training that I had been exposed to a proper yoga studio environment.
Was that when did you start? Was it last year in autumn sometime?
It's a year exactly.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, a year. Yeah.
August.
Yeah. So
September. August, September.
August, September.
Yeah.
So, because it was a 10-month training. We did weekend basis. So once a month, we had Saturday and Sunday just from dawn to dusk yoga.
Yeah.
I mean, it was because it was one weekend a month. There's quite a lot of space between, but it gave you a lot of time to kind of internalize what you were learning in between. And I think that I made a lot of discoveries about myself that I probably wouldn't have made if I'd done like a 3-week intensive training where you did, all 200 hours back to back.
It's just you don't have so much time to assimilate, to process,
Right.
to filter. Do you when it's very quick? And
Yeah.
but I mean, you did the 1 weekend a month,
Mm-hmm.
but then you had to do something for the rest. It wasn't just.
Yeah, so we had our homework. So it was every day we had to practice. And we were given a minimum routine to practice. So we were given our sun salutations. You have to do at least your sun salutations. One sun salutation per leading leg. So once on the right, once on the left. But we were given a whole routine to do. So every day I would come home from work and I would put my music on and I would light my candles. And this routine started out, I kid you not, it was 2.5 hours. When I was
Oh
learning
dear.
the poses, it was 2.5 hours.
It's like me trimming my hair.
Yeah.
For the first time.
Yeah. So, but I mean, as I practiced and I became more comfortable with it, it went from being a 2.5 hour practice to it's maybe 45 minutes now that takes me to get from the beginning to the end. And a lot of times, I still go back to that practice if I'm not really sure how I'm feeling and I'm not really sure how I want to go through my movements. I've got that little safety net. I know that practice.
Now, as I was saying at the beginning of this vlog, what happened with COVID brought some positive elements to my life as well, because I was doing the gym before. I was doing just treadmill, bicycle, and a little bit of some hip, the weights, the hip weights, and that's it. Once a week, then I was doing, gosh, I've got hair everywhere. I was doing body balance, and then I was doing pole fitness. But that was 3 workouts a week. And now I also try to do something every day, like you said, with the sun salutation. And actually, that's a really good tip, because I know I've done it in body balance, and that's quite a flowy one as well. So yeah, I'll see if I can incorporate that into my everyday thing. So then with COVID, I started to do more and more regularly, and I can see and feel it on me. I still have to shed some of the extra fat that is showing on top of the muscles now, but that's a different story. Did COVID change anything in your plans? I know it did, but I just would like to have you talk about it, because you were planning to swap or revert towards being a yoga instructor anyway, but
It was going to be a much slower process, I planned on finishing out the year at the school that I was working at. So I gave my resignation in January. And I said, look, I'll finish out the year, but this is my last year teaching. And then COVID happened.
yeah,
And everything went remote, which I was okay with going remote because I was used to it, because it's something that you do in America, you teach remotely.
all right.
But the kids weren't prepared for it here. The parents weren't prepared for it here. The school definitely wasn't prepared for it. And I was in this weird place where I knew what would work, and the school wasn't sure what would work. And every time I tried to implement something, it would come back as, no, we don't want you to do it that way. So it was a constant battle for about 3 weeks. Now, I will say I was a total baby about it, because at that point I had hit the point of the year where I was done. It hands down, the first half of the year was the worst year that I've ever had as a teacher, and I've been teaching in a school since I was 16. So
It's, I mean, even with people who still are into teaching now, both, because I am from the Romanian background, both in Romania and here, I have friends on Facebook who are teachers, and they still want to carry on, but I've seen them question, is this really going to work for me long term? Is it time for a change? But you already started that change.
Yeah,
So.
I had, and so being at home all the time meant that I could actually start to offer people yoga classes, which was great because I had people going, we don't have anything to do, can you teach us yoga?
Brilliant.
So for me, hanging on to the end of the year just wasn't feasible anymore. I was miserable. I was bringing that work into my house, all the stress into my house. And I thought, I just can't do this. I can't be in my house, my home, and be miserable.
Yeah.
So I reiterated that I was leaving. I kind of handed in my second resignation, which is, okay, I'll finish out this week, but I'm gone now. And then I went to, yoga full time.
Yeah. And what are you doing? How are you running your yoga classes now?
Right now, I'm running them through Skype Meet now. So I've got a virtual yoga studio where I've got, on Skype, if you download the Skype app, you get the link to the group. We're there all the time. I have Skype on my phone, so, people can message me consistently. So it is a virtual space that is constantly there, unlike Zoom, which kind of goes away after you're done.
And you also have a very active Instagram account.
I do.
Yeah, and I can link it as well.
Oh yeah.
If you wanna. Yeah.
Please, thank you.
Yeah.
So I've got later this month, the 21st to the 27th of September, I'm actually doing 30-minute live classes from 5:30 to 6 o'clock in the evening.
Brilliant.
Which will just be, very beginner friendly, sit, wind down, maybe get a little bit of movement into the body, and then go into, our Shavasana, a little bit of a meditation, just a really short practice for people to join.
Brilliant. So. That's great to know. And I will put Alyssa's details down here because, Alyssa, you also post your schedule on Instagram. So if people want to see if, their schedule fits in with what you're doing, they can check it very easily.
Yeah.
Everybody's on Instagram as well nowadays.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
Yeah. I hope you enjoyed watching these little snippets from the yoga practice that Alyssa just ran together with me today. They are just really little snippets because I was focused more on doing the yoga stretches and sequences than on the actual filming, which I realized wasn't at the right angle for most of it. But the point was for me to introduce Alyssa's story to you because I find it really inspiring how she got to a place where she realized that she didn't belong in teaching any longer. She wanted to do something different. She found what works for her. And actually the whole situation created by COVID helped her evolve faster and more into the direction that she wanted to go to. So I hope that this vlog inspires you as well. If you think that you should be doing something else with your life than what you're doing right now, if you feel stuck, maybe you can find some inspiration from what we've put together today and find your own path that will take you to the place where you want to be. Now, I'll be making more such lifestyle vlogs in the future as well. And if you did enjoy today's vlog, remember to give me thumbs up, because that helps my channel as well. Remember to also subscribe to my channel, and until next time then, ciao for now!